Hope you all had a great week this week. Today, I want to talk to you about my application for a reconsideration and an appeal of my employment tribunal um, outcome. So, I submitted my employment tribunal claims in um, early 2024. Yeah, so I submitted it early 2024. We had preliminary hearings and everything else over the year, and we finally had a hearing in March and April of 2025. So that's when we had the hearing. I submitted four claims. Um, three were dismissed, and one succeeded. I received the judgment in we received the judgment in person in May 2025. I requested for the reasons in writing in May. I think it was May 2025. I received the reasons in October 2025, and then I submitted an application for reconsideration in October 2025. And I also then submitted an application for appeal in November 2025. At the moment, I'm still awaiting the outcome to the appeal and also to the reconsideration. It has been quite a while. I've been calling to find out what the updates are. Um, to no avail. I haven't heard anything. So I'll probably just keep contacting them, the office, to find out when I will be hearing from them. So that's the position I'm in now. I'm still awaiting the outcome of my reconsideration of the application for reconsideration, and I'm also still awaiting the outcome for the application for the appeal. The reason why I've done both, because you can just do one, the reason why I've done both is when I did submit the application for the reconsideration, I didn't get any response. I didn't hear back from anybody. So, seeing as the deadline for the appeal application was coming up, I decided to apply for the I decided to apply for the appeal. Otherwise, I may have run out of time, basically. So yeah, so that's why I've done both. You can submit a reconsideration for several reasons. I'll just go through a few of them. So one of the reasons why you can apply for a reconsideration um, of your case is that the if you feel like the other party benefited from you know biased treatment, or if you feel like things weren't done according to how it should be. Another reason why you can apply for reconsideration is on a point of law. Um, so it could be on a point of law. And I believe there's one more reason. I think the other reason is if maybe you haven't turned up for the hearing because you weren't aware of it. And lastly, you can apply for a reconsideration if you are now in possession of new evidence. So those are the reasons why you can apply for reconsideration. But like I said, while you're waiting for them to get back to you, you you may actually miss out on other things you can do. And if you just wait and wait for the reconsideration appeal to go through, you may just miss the deadline to submit the appeal. And obviously, you can request an extension, but it's not a guarantee. And in this day and age, you'd rather the egg in your hand than two in a bush, basically. So yeah, so that's the situation. Um, they probably will try and ignore it, but that wouldn't be a great idea. Um, on the note of new evidence, if you are in possession of new evidence, it needs to be evidence that could potentially have swayed the decision, that could have had an important influence on what the outcome was. Um, yeah, so those are the conditions in which new evidence can be submitted. It has been a while, like I said, I made the application back in October, and before then, I'd requested for the reasons in May 2025. So that was a good, like, 6 month stretch of me waiting to receive the reasons before I could do anything about trying to track the person that I need to speak to. At the moment, I am quite nervous about hearing back from the tribunal. I have been reading up on different appeals and reconsiderations online. I'm not sure what you know what the probability is of me being successful. Um, you know, but we'll see what happens. Hi, at Clover. How are you? How's your weekend going? And where are you watching from? Yeah, so I will keep you updated on any progress on the appeal and the reconsideration. But it's taken so long. I'm just going to have to be patient, I guess. From the UK, oh my gosh, I don't know if you've got the same weather as what I'm having. I'm in London. It is raining, and there was ice on the ground this morning. So hopefully you've got much better weather than we have in London right now. But honestly, I hope the rain stops before work tomorrow morning. But yeah, I'm good. Just waiting for some progress on my appeal and my reconsideration. On the Isle of Wight, oh, it must be, yeah, I can imagine how windy it must be there. But at least you've got all that fresh air, because I believe it's a lot less pollution on the Isle of Wight. You've definitely got way less pollution than we've got here in London. So, every cloud has a silver lining, literally. But yeah, I'm a bit nervous about hearing back from the employment tribunal, but we'll see what happens. I know appeals don't always happen the way we want it to go. I've heard about Isle of Wight. It's really nice there. I know a couple of people that live there. It's really nice. And it's got a very good sense of community there. I heard as well. Very good sense of community. Yeah. So if anybody has ever been involved in an employment tribunal appeal, please let you know. I should go there because it's not far either, is it? Yeah, that's quite an idea. I should go. Probably when the weather's a bit nicer. But yeah, it's a lovely place. I've heard really good things about the Isle of Wight. Um, Hi at Berberpata. London, yeah, London gets busy. I guess it's just timing when to go. Um, I don't really go to the city much unless, I don't know if you've been to the Globe Theatre. It's a Shakespearean theatre um, that have plays on, you know, a lot of the time. I do recommend it, the Globe in the South Bank. They've got tickets that are quite cheap and cheerful if you don't mind standing up for the whole play. But yeah, definitely recommend the Globe Theatre in the South Bank. Yeah, London's a good city. London's a good city. I can't believe how quickly the weekend ends. Like, oh, can't believe we're all back at work tomorrow. Yeah, River Thames, not being to Madame Two Swords. It's okay, we all know what you mean. Madame Two Swords is really good. Who was your favourite waxwork at Madame Two Swords? I think they got a whole bunch of new people there now. But which do you think was the most lifelike? Mhm. Hi Berber, Patap, how are you? Hope you're having a good weekend. We're just saying how cold it is. I do feel like it's a lot lighter now. Like I feel like it's not as dark as it probably should be. Taylor Swift, Ariana, yeah. Yeah, I think I've probably seen them online. Their ones are really good. Yeah, their ones are really good. Is it like the Ariana Grande? Is it like the way she looks now, or is it the way she looked when she first came out? That's the problem, kind of, I guess, keeping up with any changes in the looks of the celebrities. Hi, Berber. Patap, how are you? How's your day been? Can you believe we're back at work tomorrow? Unbelievable. But yeah, so I'm waiting to hear back about the appeal and about the reconsideration. If there's anybody here that's yeah, that would be good. How she looks now, yeah. I think it's a budget as well, isn't it? I think maybe they've all got a budget, but maybe they can do like a theme night one day and do one of her maybe on the as a theme night of how she looks in the musical. But yeah, that's really good. Mm, yeah, I'll just okay. Thank you for joining the stream at Clover underscore HHEQ. Thank you for joining this stream. Greetings to all on the Isle of Wight, and I should come actually in the summertime. That would be nice. But take care and have a good week. Mhm. Yeah. So I'm just so sorry. I know I keep repeating myself. I'm just waiting to hear back from the appeal and the reconsideration. I'm representing myself. I represented myself during the tribunal, which was stressful. But like I said, out of the four claims, I had three dismissed and I succeeded in one. So, hopefully I'll brush up on my skills and see how it goes. If I'm able to go to the next stage. So, in regards to the appeal, um, there's something called the SIFT, where they filter through all the criteria, where they filter through, your application and they filter through, I guess, maybe your case, and they look at what merits you have, and then they decide if it can go any further. So the reconsideration, that the reconsideration goes. So with the appeal, that goes to the upper employment tribunal. With the consideration, it goes to the original judge, and the original judge, I believe it goes to the original panel, and they decide whether the judgment remains the same, whether the judgment is revoked and there needs to be a new hearing, or they decide if the judgment is changed without hearing. So in regards to whatever decision they make, the appeal, the upper employment tribunal can override their decision, which is why I done both because in order to make an application for the appeal, it needed to be done within 42 days of receiving the written reasons. So I didn't want to miss the deadline of making an appeal, which is why I've done both. So I'm not sure if that's right or wrong, but I didn't want to get caught out of running out of time. If anyone's been involved in a employment tribunal, especially an appeal, please let me know. I did represent myself, but you know, I definitely could have done better. Um, it's quite unfortunate in this day and age that sometimes we do have to take things further to an employment tribunal. However, if you've got time, if you've got the emotional energy, if you've got enough support, then yeah, I would recommend you do. There is an employment rights bill um, coming through, which will change things, which will definitely change things. Um, I think if there was an employment rights bill at the time of the situation I was in, it probably wouldn't get to this point. It just wouldn't get to this point. So I'm very positive about the changes that are being made um, in the employment rights bill, but these changes have come too late for me, and I'm having to take this action, unfortunately. But yeah, if there's anybody um, that's been involved in a employment tribunal, please let me know. Especially if you've done an appeal. Like I said, I submitted 4 claims, and 3 were dismissed, and 1 was successful, and I was compensated for it. Um, yeah, yeah. I will add the a link to my employment tribunal here, like reasons, judgment, and reasons in the description. So if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask. But yeah, it sounds like the rain has stopped though. Sounds like the rain has stopped. Um, I know there's people in Birmingham and stuff that have been have been snowed in and have lost electricity and stuff. So we're really sorry to hear that, and we hope all is well, and everyone in Birmingham and elsewhere that was snowed in are safe now. Um, to be honest with you, during my employment tribunal, one of my previous colleagues wanted to support me, and I really didn't want her to get involved because I felt like she was going to face a backlash at work, which she did. So she did support me, although I asked her not to, due to repercussions I felt she may face. Um, she did support me, um, much needed support, but unfortunately, after the tribunal, she was just pushed out of her job. She was harassed, she was bullied, she was victimized, and she doesn't work there anymore. So she ended up losing her job um, because she supported me, and that's just really sad. It's really sad. But yeah. So I'll see what happens. We'll see what they come back with. We see what the outcome of the appeal is. We'll see what the outcome of the reconsideration application is. And I believe the upper employment tribunal will wait and see what happens with the reconsideration before they get involved. So if you've got any tips for me as somebody that was representing herself, litigant in person, then please let me know. So I'm involved in a like I'm involved with a voluntary organization that does cleaning voluntarily to help out a charity organization. And unfortunately, we use Hoovers. Unfortunately, all the Hoovers have broken. Like, not one Hoover is working. And so that was a nightmare because, yeah, there's just no Hoovers. And I just help out a few hours a month with this charity just to help clean up the place. And yeah, none of the Hoovers are working. So that was a bit frustrating. But hopefully by next week, the Hoovers will be working again and I'll be able to get involved. Yeah, so if anybody has any tips about representing yourself in the employment tribunal, especially for appeals, feel free to let me know. As I said, I represented myself, submitted 4 claims, and this is an employment tribunal in the UK. I submitted 4 claims, three were dismissed, and one succeeded, and I received compensation. So hopefully going forward, the next step won't be something completely out of the ordinary because it would have been something that I've done before. Please like the live. That would be really appreciated if you could like the live. Yeah, and that's it really. You know when you're like, like when it's the weekend and the next day is work. You know that feeling. You just everything just speeds up. Like honestly, everything speeds up. Like now, I think as soon as I woke up this morning, the day just sped up, and now we're all back at work tomorrow or studies or what have you. But yeah, yeah. Can't believe the weekend is over. Hopefully this rain stops. The ice just behaves itself, and because the ice really affects the trains, the public transportation. I'll be getting the train to work, and yeah, the ice just messes things up. So I hope you've all had a great weekend and you're looking forward to getting back to study or work or what have you tomorrow. Yeah, so I think for me, one of the biggest shocks is how long it's taken for me to hear from anyone. For me, it's just the amount of time it's taken to hear from anybody, or maybe this is quite normal, but for me, it's quite a lot. It's quite stressful. Anyway, so yeah, so I'll keep you all updated on how things go with my appeal, with my reconsideration application. I'll definitely let you all know on how that's going. Any progress reports, any updates, I will definitely let you guys know. Um, I submitted my employment tribunal claim early 2025. No, early 2024 is when I started the process in early 2024. Um, we were given dates of the hearing. We're given dates for March, ending of March, beginning of April 2025. So we had the hearing then. Then we received the verdicts verbally in May 2025, and then I asked for the reasons um, for this. for this outcome. I asked for the reasons in October 2025. I was sent the reasons in, I think, December. It wasn't for a couple of months afterwards that I received the reasons. And then that's when I appealed and I sent that in. I sent the appeal in November. I sent the appeal in November. And from now till then, I've just been waiting. And so the time frame has been quite a long time, but obviously there's probably been backlogs and, caseloads upon caseloads, meaning people haven't been able to get back to me in, as fast as they'd like to. I have been calling for updates to find out what's happening, when I'm going to hear from somebody, all to no avail. So I'll probably give them a call tomorrow and see how far my application is, or to find out, or to get an update on when I can expect to speak to somebody. Yeah, so that's me. Representing yourself during an employment tribunal is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for the faint-hearted. It's very triggering hearing people say things about you that isn't true, and not having the professional capacity to challenge them effectively. Um, it is hard representing yourself. I would definitely say to think twice before doing it. When I can't actually afford a lawyer, however, I do feel like I did give it my best. But yeah, I definitely feel like if I did have a lawyer, I probably would have won all the claims. But as it stands, I had four claims and I only won one of them. Um, I think also as well, having people that are still working in my workplace, you do feel it's quite difficult because obviously a lot of them don't want to get involved, don't want to give statements, don't want to be witnesses and everything else, and just want to keep their job. But then the other side of them is that they want to keep up with what's going on. A lot of the times, they want to know what's going on. They want to know, oh, what did they say? What did you say? And sometimes, to be honest, it gets a bit much, like it's a two-way street. I can't just be filling them up with everything that's going on. They can also check in on me. But part of that problem is because we're not around each other as much as we used to be. So you can't really blame them, if they're not around, then, they wouldn't necessarily know about what's been going on. But yeah, so I'm hopeful that I will hear from somebody in regards to the appeal and the reconsideration outcome. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, but thankfully, there's a new renters, not renters, there is a new renters bill coming through, but there's also a new employment, what should you call it? There's there's going to be different repercussions from the new employment 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 bills. There will be some repercussions, some that we may not have considered, because it will impact a whole new generation who have found a whole new different way of doing things. Um, yeah. So, so once I hear anything from the tribunal, once I hear anything from the local judge that oversaw my employment tribunal case, I will be in touch with an update Thank you very much for joining the live. I really appreciate you all, and I'll be seeing you soon. Take care. Bye.